Welcome students to our Thursday, October the 1st lesson. Today we're at Unit 3, Lesson number 2. Use place value to add or subtract. Okay, today our specific lesson is titled Parallel Tasks. And no, that is not Mr. Griffin over there. Okay. Our next slide, learning targets. Today I will use place value language to read and write multi-digit numbers, numerals, number names, and expanded form. Our essential questions are remaining the same for this unit, and we'll just continue to build upon our answers for those. How do we make sense of larger numbers? How does understanding the value of digits help answer real-life math problems? And on our next slide here, we have a problem of the day. The rectangular garden at the school is 3 times as long and 3 times as wide as the rectangular garden in Josie's backyard. Josie's garden is 4 feet long with a perimeter of 14 feet. What is the perimeter of the garden at the school? So we're going to pause for a few minutes, and I want you to go on and reread it to yourself and just be thinking about how we're going to approach that. Okay, so you've had a chance to look it over again. We're going to go in and do our cubes on this word problem. So we're going to circle our key numbers first. So the rectangular garden at the school is 3 times. Okay, you got some key words right here. Times is long. Okay, so these are some key words that we're going to kind of box them in because we've studied that before with multiplicative comparisons. And also you got 3 times as wide as the rectangular garden in Josie's backyard. Josie's garden is 4 feet long with a perimeter of 14 feet. And our question, what is the perimeter of the garden at the school? Okay, so this is a multi-step word problem, guys, that we're going to have to take a few steps actually to get there. Okay, and we first need to determine, well, how many rectangular figures do we need to draw? And how many gardens are we talking about? So it looks like we're talking about 2 of them. So we've got a rectangular garden at the school, and we've got the garden in Josie's backyard. Okay, so let's go ahead on and draw a couple of these. So let's just say that this is, and I'm going to go on and label them. Let's say that this is the garden at the school. So I'm just going to put S for school for that one. And I'm going to do another garden, and I'll do it down here. And I'm going to say that this is Josie's garden in our backyard. I'm just going to put a J right there for Josie. Okay. All right, we have some known figures, some things that we know, and that is information about the garden in Josie's backyard. And we know a little bit, some clues about the garden at the school. Okay, so let's go and start with Josie's backyard because we got some specific numbers for that one. So Josie's backyard is 4 feet long, remember? So that means that her length is 4 feet. So the length of Josie's garden is 4 feet. So if this side is 4 feet, since this is a rectangle, that means that they have the same size sides. That means that this side also is going to be 4 feet. Okay, automatically. It has a perimeter of 14 feet. All right, so the perimeter for her is 14 feet. Remember, the perimeter is the outside of a figure. So that means this side, this side, this side, and this side all added up together gives you the perimeter. Okay, so let's see. And we're going to start adding them up. So we know the length of them, but we don't know the width yet. And so when we add it up so far with what we have for the length, we have 4 plus 4 is 8 feet. Okay, but we know that these all have to equal up to be 14 feet. but we only know that because of the two lengths added together is 8 feet. So that leaves a difference of 6 feet. So that means that the width total is 6 feet. So I'm going to take that 14 minus the 8, 6 feet. And with the width being 6 feet, guys, we know that these two sides are the same length also. So that means that they have to be equal. And the only way that you can make these equal is to split it in half. If you do half and half for the 6, that means that this is 3 feet and this is 3 feet. So the width on this side and this side, of course, are the same. So now when we add them all up, we get a total of 14 feet. Okay, so now we get a total of 14. We figured the dimensions for Josie's garden in her backyard. So now we can more easily go over and look at the rectangular garden for the school because we've got some clues. The garden at the school is 3 times as long as Josie's garden, and we know that Josie's garden is 4 feet, so it's 3 times 4. Okay, and we also know that it is, and that's for the length right there. We also know for the width, it's 3 times as wide. So it's going to be 3 times the width of Josie's, which is 3. So now we can figure those out. And at this point, guys, you can still use a calculator or the multiplication table on the inside of your math notebook. All right, so now we've got a length of 12 feet. And we've got a width of 9 feet. So if this is 12, this side over here is also going to be 12, right? Because they're the same. If this is 9, this is also going to be 9. Okay, so now back to our question. What is the perimeter of the garden at the school? So now we just need to add these up. So we add them up. We are looking at 12 plus 12 plus 9 plus 9. So when you add those all up, you should get 42 feet for your answer. So our answer to that problem is 42 feet. So just pause the video if you need to, and take down notes inside of your math notebook. Okay, so on our next slide, you're being asked to do 2 tasks, and you're just going to be building some numbers using place value blocks. Okay, so task 1 is going to be to use the place value blocks or drawings to model the number 243, and I want you to do it in 2 different ways. Task 2 is that you're going to use a total of 18 place value blocks to model the number 243, the same number. All right, so we're going to do these one at a time, and in order to build them, we're going to do just like we did on a previous lesson yesterday, I believe, where you are able to click right here. When you click right here, you are going to come up on a different screen. It's going to look like this, okay? Now, I've already filled mine in for one of the numbers. So I've made a drawing and I built the number 243. I've done it one way right here. So the only thing I did was just kind of, you click on your value and you just bring it over, okay? So click and drag. And remember, you can duplicate by just hitting this little button at the bottom down here. So I've got 2 hundreds, 4 tens, which represents 40, and I've got 3 ones, which represents just a total of 3. So I've got 243 that I have represented right here. So I want you to take the time to do it yourself. When you bring up the site on a separate tab to build your 243, I want you to do it 2 ways. Build it 2 different ways. Okay, so you've had an opportunity to build the number 243 in 2 different ways using our place value blocks. And our next task is to use a total of 18 place value blocks to model the same number, 243. So we got to use 18 place value blocks, no more or no less than 18. And when you click on here, you'll be able to build it, okay? So I'm going to pause, and I want you to try to build that yourself. And we're going to pause it. Okay, so I've had an opportunity to go on and build that task number 2 using 18 place value blocks to model the number 243. All right, so this is what I have. This is 100, this is 100, so that's 200. This is a 10, 210, 220, 230, and this is a total of 10, 240, 241, 242, and 243. So I have a total of 243, but the next question is, do I have 18 total place value blocks? I can't have more than 18 on here. So this is one, this is considered one block, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 total place value blocks that I've used to build that same number of 243. So how are the different models that we've done for 243? How are they similar? How are they different? Now, you will see that we use for each of them, the first set and the second, we used drawings to make 243, but in different forms. We did them in different ways. We used different forms, but they had the same total value. When we added it up, it had the same total value. So for our next slide, we're going to use those same digits that we used for the previous slides. We remember it was 243, but we're going to take those numbers, we're going to change them up just a little bit. And our directions here, using the 3 digits, create the largest 3-digit number and the smallest 3-digit number possible. And it says complete the chart below for each number you create. Okay, so I've actually gone ahead and done that here. And our largest number that we could create out of all these, of course, you're going to have in the hundreds place, you need to put the 4. So it's going to be 432 for the largest number. Okay, I've got it right here. And we took these same digits. For the smallest number, it would start with a 2. But it wouldn't be 243. It would be 234. So we can move that around. So the smallest number is going to be 234. Okay. And for the name, you would say it as 432. So 432 is the name of that. We've got it in written form in words. And for 234, 234 is how you would write it in the word form. Our expanded form, we are of course breaking apart the numbers. So we've got 400s plus 30 plus 2. And for our smaller number of 234, we've got 200 plus 30 plus 4. Okay, so on our next slide here, I want you to create and write your own 3 digits to use and complete the chart using the same strategy that we just used on the previous slide. And you're going to do the same thing with whatever numbers that you write right here. It's going to be 3 digits. You're going to use those 3 digits to create the largest 3-digit number that you can, and also the smallest 3-digit number that you can. And you're going to complete the chart below, putting in the numeral form, just like we did on the previous slide, for both the largest number here and the smallest number on this side. And for the name, you're going to write out the name in the word form for that number here, for the largest one, for the smallest one here, and the expanded form for each number, the largest number here and the smallest number here. So it's whatever number that you can think of that you want to write down, that's what you're going to use. So we're going to pause for a few minutes. I want you to complete that task. We've discussed the terms numeral, the numeral name, and expanded form So when we say numeral, we mean the actual number digits. The number digits you would write down like the number 1, 2, 3, and so forth. So for the number name, that is the name of that number written in a word form. And the expanded form is when we break apart the number by place value. So you break it apart by place value, such as 2 400s, 30 10s, and 2 1s. Okay, so for our next slide here, you are going to roll dice here to create a number. Okay, so you're not going to have to just think of a number. You're going to be able to roll some dice and actually come up with a number. So our directions: play and pause the video of the rolling die. When you pause it, use the die to determine the number of digits. Example, if you rolled a 4, then you create a 4-digit number. Okay, so I'm going to play it and I'll demonstrate it. So I'm going to hit this and I'm going to pause it. So I pause it and I've created a 6-digit number. So that means that I've got to have a number with 6 digits. So the number that I picked is, I said that for 6 digits, 110,310. So 110,310 is the number that I picked. So you may roll a 3-digit number, you may roll and come up on a 4 with just a 4-digit number. So it's all about, the digits are about what place value do you need to stop at. Okay, and once you roll the dice and you come up with your number, what I want you to do is go ahead and complete these sections over here. Okay, go ahead and complete in here the numeral form, the name, and the expanded form. All right, and for this one, I'm only asking you to do it one time, and put your answers in the first column right here. And our next slide here is going to be for also for independent practice, and it is all about you practicing on place value. So the instructions for number 1: write the following number in numerals and expanded form: 200, 6 10s, 12 1s. For that one, and you write your answer for the numerals right here and the expanded form right here. You're going to do the same thing for number 2 and number 3, but you just have different numbers. Okay, and our last slide, complete the independent practice on the previous slide. And also I want you to continue working on Dreambox to make sure that you have at least 5 lessons by the end of the week. So you're going to continue working on Dreambox, making sure you have at least 5 lessons by the end of the week. And of course you can go and do more than 5. I would want you to do more than 5.